Hello, hello, my beautiful red nail energy community. This is Mikhail, and I'm coming at you with a short and sweet solo episode today. I say that now, but your girl can yap, so we will see how long this ends up being. It's just been on my heart to record an episode that kind of encompasses what I'm feeling as a little bit of a collective experience that we are having. If you are an astro girly or a cosmic follower, you know that there is a lot happening gravitationally right now. And while on Saturday over this last weekend, we did hit our solar eclipse and then followed by some new retrograde activity that actually hasn't happened in, I believe, 164 years. So there's some big feelings surfacing. There's a lot happening. And we've kind of dipped down to the very, very low to now be able to start ascending. So if you are listening and you're not super versed on astrology, that's fine. I'm with you. I'm not like the most versed in it, but I will say I've been so parallel and accurately impacted by this current season that I had no choice but to start kind of looking into it and then being absolutely enamored and intrigued by how true to my life some of these things were that were happening. And if you're not familiar with the story of Persephone, I would encourage you to look it up because it is incredible empowerment and also a testament to the fact that sometimes we have to lose everything in order to be in a place of receiving. And a very abridged and condensed version of Persephone is going down into this underworld and essentially getting to all of these different points where each time she had to release something else, even down to like the clothes on her back, everything that mattered to her, every hobby, anything that was identifying to her, she released and continued to release and let go of and release and let go of until the point of finally dying, losing life, losing the very force that keeps her on this planet, to then be reborn and ascend with this whole new perspective of recognition that the things we think identify us, the things we think matter the very, very most, could be ripped out from our hands and we could be left with ashes around our feet. And it is not until then often that we find out what we are made of, who we really are, and how to build from that. It's an incredible story of triumph, but before the triumph came immense loss. And I think sometimes we focus so much on the outcome. We focus so much on what this person did once they rose without pausing to first recognize the fall. And without darkness, without some of these chapters of confusion, of not knowing, of uncertainty, we would never appreciate the other side of that coin, which is deep knowing, deep certainty, clarity. And right now, I'm in a season of my life as well where I've really been forced to face some of my own shadows, some of the repeated themes in my life that have happened and been confusing until now. And the clarity that I have on the other side of that would not have happened had I not been forced to kind of dip into this darkness. And so wherever you find yourself right now, I just want to remind you that not only is no feeling final, but the feeling and the season in your life that you are in right now is exactly where you are meant to be. And the lessons that are being revealed to themselves and the shadows that are being upheavaled and the discomfort that you are being forced to sit within is exactly the part of your story and the chapter that you are meant to be writing, that you are meant to be on, and the very gift and solution to some of the problems that have been recurring, repeated themes in your life. And I'm with you. I'm straddling this line between darkness and light right now. And I didn't even really think about that. But then the shirt that I'm wearing is like crazy, freaky, dead on for really, truly being in the messy middle right now. And I kind of hunkered down and I hibernated and I sort of closed myself away and isolated for a little while, which is not super true to who I typically am. And then I got to a place where I recognized that is not serving me, and community and connection is what the feminine thrives from. And so I'm here now to bridge that gap. If you are listening and you are in a season of confusion and uncertainty and fear and loss and grief, let me bridge that gap and sit with you in that. I am not only with you, I am you. We are all so much more similar and so much more alike than we are different. And that very notion and deep understanding is the connecting force that allows us to not have to navigate these things alone. And maybe you're not ready to open up to your circle. Maybe you're not ready to shoot me the DM and let me know what's going on. That's okay. You don't have to sit through it alone, though. I'm here with you. And that very understanding and belief can be the thing that allows us to take that next step into the light, into rediscovering what this darkness was meant to teach us. So I wanted to go through a few things that have been helpful to me in the last few weeks of navigating this, whatever you want to call it, this WTF freaking Mercury in the microwave that we've all been experiencing, and how I've come out on the other side with such a deep appreciation for that very darkness that only a couple weeks ago was so uncomfortable. I was wishing it away. And as though I was repeating, no feeling is final, I also was questioning if that very belief is true. So if you're finding yourself in a moment where it feels like it is never going to get better, or maybe this is just how it's going to feel moving forward, just know that I'm with you, and just know that that feeling is a liar. And it will get better, and you will feel like yourself again. And you will find moments in between the discomfort where you are able to just bask in your beautiful energy and feel so alive, because you too are straddling this line between light and dark. So the first thing that I just want to give you permission to believe is that there is a huge misconception that being in your feminine energy means you have to just be high vibe all the time. I think that's the very opposite of feminine energy, because feminine energy is just allowing yourself to be, period. And that means sometimes you are the life of the party and you're dropping it low in the middle of a crowd at a concert and you're having the best time and you're letting your body flow and move and do what it needs to do. And other times it means honoring the call to rest, answering the call to do things differently than maybe you've been doing before. It means taking inventory and looking around you and allowing yourself to be in spaces that feel safe, no matter what feeling it is that you're feeling. Allowing yourself to feel whatever feeling it is that you're feeling. That is the essence of the feminine. It's saying, here I am. This is how I feel, unapologetically. And I have control over those emotions. I have control over my response or my reaction to things. I'm a calm and collected being, and I'm feeling very deeply. It means knowing when to remove yourself from situations that are causing immense reactivity. It means knowing when to pause and fill your own cup or go engage in self-care when you're being invited to show up to a battle that is not yours to fight. And it means really deeply honoring the seasons of dark, cocooned rest, recharging, and initiation to then become reemerged as this beautiful butterfly that would not have had time to grow her wings if she didn't honor the stillness and the darkness and the periods of deep, uncomfortable, restful pause. It is so okay and so necessary to honor those dips instead of trying to force yourself or fake your way into being positive. I have some previous episodes where I've spoken about determining your energetic minimum and living above that line. And I think that this is a tricky, nuanced expression and explanation of the dark times, because you can still be operating at a high vibration and be grief-stricken, sad, heartbroken in this space of surrender and release. Going to a low vibration is ruminating. It is shame. It is answering the door to that rabbit hole that has been knocking for far too long. It is surrounding yourself with people that allow you to engage in either self-sabotage or speaking negatively about other people, gossiping, kind of like feeding that deep, dark beast that wants to step on someone else in order to rise up. And that is never serving of us. And it feels really gross. And it's not feminine or high vibe or anything that we want to utilize in order to get to the other side of whatever it is that we're facing. There is so much beauty in duality, in feeling low and powerful, in feeling heartbroken and hopeful, in feeling broken to be cracked open, to let new lessons, new blessings, new perspective, new light in. We are all ever changing, ever evolving, always growing, always learning. If we're not, then we're not doing it right, or we're lying to ourselves. And so there's also this side and this kind of repeated theme I've felt within myself, but that I've also heard echoed by so many incredible, amazing people around me of like, why haven't I learned this yet? Why is this happening again? Why am I being faced with this exact same lesson that I feel like I've already learned and maybe mastered a million times? And the answer to that is because there's still something left to be taught and to learn. And that doesn't mean you didn't give it your all the last time around. That doesn't mean that you didn't learn what you possibly had the capacity to learn the last time around. And how amazing and remarkable that we've now been stretched to fit a new space. We've now been stretched to have more knowledge and power and beauty be contained within us. Once we know better, we can do better. Once we have learned more, we can kind of change and pivot and do things differently. And so each time that we're faced with this new experience and it feels familiar, give yourself a pat on the back. You've learned enough from the last time around that this time around, you're given the opportunity to do things even more powerful and from a place of abundance and without scarcity and without fear. And if it feels familiar, it's because it's something that's being asked to be healed deep within you. And congratulations that you have the awareness that it feels familiar. No more going down these deep shame spirals and telling ourselves that we should have learned this, we're bad, we're wrong, we're any of those things. That's so non-serving of us. And I know it's easier said than done, but it can be as simple as just changing the channel in your brain when those feelings and thoughts come up, or practicing a playful co-creation with the universe where it's almost like every time that thought comes up, you giggle and you're like, I see you. I know. Yep. I'm on it. I can't wait to like defeat this dragon. I can't wait to be faced with this again. And almost like recognizing that my belief is that when someone flutters into your brain, my playful kind of banter with the universe is that it's because that thing is also thinking of me. And so if it's a person that's this repeated theme, whatever, I almost in like a funny, playful annoyance, I'm like, I hear you, bud. I hear you. I see you. Yep, I know. I'm still on your mind. And like, thanks for the thought. Thanks for the wink. Thanks for the nudge. And then I move on with my day. And that's so different than something flutters into your mind and then you spend 20 or 30 minutes going down this spiral of like, why am I still thinking about it? Why am I? And it's actually just strengthening this pathway. When instead, if you believe that there are open channels of communication energetically within the universe, and someone just pops into your mind and you're like, what's up? Hey, nice to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. That's it. It's as easy as that. And it allows us to create new pathways, and it allows us to not strengthen that rumination rabbit hole the way that we've kind of been conditioned to do in the past. There's a big difference in these situations between forcing and flowing. And I think that we can learn to lean into our softness rather than resistance. And resistance can look like the non-allowance of what is trying to come through. But resistance can also be forcing our way through, saying, I acknowledge where I am and this is going on, and I'm going to get to the other side so fast because I have all these tools and strategies and whatever. No, sis, you're missing the point. At the end of the day, we are where we are. We're experiencing what we're experiencing. And the sooner we can actually just drop into that is the secret to moving through it even quicker. If we refuse to drop in because we're going to Sonic the Hedgehog our way through it, we are going to spin in circles until we finally stop. We sink into it. We ask ourselves, what do I need to know right now? What is being called to my attention? What is being brought into my awareness? Where am I invited to grow? What shadows are being brought up? What repeated themes am I experiencing right now that maybe I'm the common denominator in? Having awareness and recognition to know that you may be the common denominator is so freaking empowering, because it takes your future and your experiences and your outcomes that you're going to perpetuate moving forward out of the hands of those around you and lets you hold them within your own hands, loosely and lightly. Because as we've said a million times, lightly, babe, lightly, we do not clench and grasp on to anything. If it is meant to be ours, it will be. It will find a way. And even that exhale, I don't have to try so hard. I don't have to fight so hard. I can desire this and know it's mine and still hold it lightly and still playfully co-create when it flutters in and out of my mind saying, hey, thanks for thinking of me. Hope you're doing well. Sending you some love right back. And I'm going to keep going on with my day. That's as much energy and attention as I give to it. I'm not asking TikTok Tarot when they're going to reach out. I'm not going down rabbit holes of planning my response once they do reach out to make sure that it comes from this place of being empowered and showing them that I have boundaries and blah, 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 blah. All of that is still so masculine, and it's still in a very deep attempt to control, when the biggest gift we can give ourselves is saying, I trust that I will know how I feel in any given moment in a way that will help me know how I would like to respond or not respond, or how I would like to move forward or choose not to move forward. That trust within ourselves and everything that we're co-creating around us with God, source, the universe, is everything. And then we get to just play. We get to just allow and release and receive. And it's so beautiful, even in the dark unknowns, even in those magic spaces where there's no light around us. And maybe we then learn how to feel our way through. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we're being called to like hunker into our own bodies and feel our way around ourselves, and then utilize that feeling to feel our way around the world and start navigating things with our typical senses a little bit occluded. And so feeling becomes our number one measuring stick. It becomes our number one tool in how we will move through the world. And it's so beautiful. And if we didn't have those senses and that kind of external clarity removed, we would never have to learn how to feel. So what are you being called and asked to feel right now? And will you give yourself the gift of dropping in and just feeling? Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful and confusing and feels like this future that had this perfect golden path laid in front of you has disappeared. You look at your own hands and you realize you're holding the next brick. You have the golden brick and you get to decide where you will lay it. And sometimes this magic dark space involves just holding on to it and not putting it anywhere and observing and allowing and witnessing and then saying, it feels really good to go this way, or it feels really good to go that way. When we try so hard to just create these paths, we spend a lot of time undoing and reversing and moving backward to only move a little bit more forward, to backward, to forward. And eventually we realize that that's not the way that we were meant to move through the world. And if we can just be patient and pause and observe a little bit, we can actually lay that next brick in a space that we're not going to have to dig it back up. How your body holds emotions and why somatic practices of release are so important is because some of the emotion that maybe in the past we haven't been ready to feel gets trapped within spaces in our body that beg us to acknowledge them. And if you're not doing some sort of intuitive somatic or movement practice, I would highly encourage you to even just put some music on that feels aligned at the moment on the, play it out loud on the stereo on your speaker, and close your eyes. And for 5 minutes, or maybe for one song, just move your body. Sometimes that's dancing. Sometimes that's going down into a child's pose and pressing your heart towards the floor and allowing yourself to truly just surrender. And maybe you move your hips back and forth when you're doing that. Maybe you get deep into a space within your hips or your shoulders or your traps or your wrists, somewhere that has been holding so much tension that you don't really acknowledge because you're moving so quickly through different practices that are being led and instructed, where you don't really have time to drop into your body and go, ooh, this feels really good. Ooh, this is asking me for more. And slowly but surely that practice will keep connecting you with yourself so that just the way you move through the world is more intuitive. Just the way you drop into your body when you're in the car on the way to the store, or when you're walking from, your car to the coffee shop, or from point A to point B with a group of friends, you will start to move different because you will actually be in your body. And you'll actually be able to tell what feels good and what doesn't feel good because you'll be connected. And that's a really beautiful, incredible, remarkable skill that can be felt by everyone around you. And it's where somebody that walks in the room, they're not being performative. They're not peacocking. They're not saying, everyone look at me, but they kind of float and they move different and they move with intention. And they're not so on the go and so rushed and in a hurry that you feel a frantic energy from them. You feel a softness. They're willing to stop and look you in the eye or give you a hug or ask how the project is going that you've been working on, or how the trip was, or what was the best part of your day yesterday. And they listen as you're sharing the answer. Challenge yourself even in these moments of discomfort. And I know that anxiety dial can be turned up to the max, but challenge yourself to move through the world and through your day a tiny bit slower. What would it feel like to park your car and go in to get the coffee instead of going through the drive-thru? What would it feel like to take an extra loop around the grocery store, or maybe wind up and down some of those aisles of Trader Joe's that you usually don't go down because you have the list of what you need and you're there to do it and that's it? When we have the lists in our mind, in our phones, on our Post-it notes, wherever they may be, and we move through the world just checking off the things on our list, we miss all of the opportunities for little moments of magic and beauty and lesson and perspective and connection to flutter their way in. It doesn't have the opportunity when our eye is on the prize and we're going from point A to point B to point C to point D. to let these little moments of connection and magic and opportunity to come through. And oftentimes it's those things that actually end up changing our life. It's that tiny interaction that you have with somebody that becomes something more. It's being brave enough to walk up and introduce yourself to someone, or compliment the stranger, or look someone in the eyes and smile as you're walking on the green belt. Even something like that in a very small gesture will raise our energetic vibration and ripple out into the world, even in the times where we are experiencing our own magic, dark, shadow period. It's tiny little things that shake up the typical routine and really do make a world of difference for us. There are also small ways beyond the little bits of connection to the outside world that I think we can really continue to water the gardens within our inner world. Finding pleasure, not punishing ourselves by removing pleasure or withholding pleasure from our lives because we're in this season of a bit of darkness, but instead recognizing that every little tiny drop of pleasure we allow ourselves is another opportunity to be within our body, raise our energetic vibration a little bit, and continue to change the course of our day. So that could be challenging yourself for just each meal or any food you eat within the day to do nothing else except for focus on what you're eating. And that might be kind of uncomfortable. And that might end up being a little bit rushed where you're like, okay, I'm just going to like sit down for 5 minutes and scarf this sandwich and look around at the world around me and then move on to the next thing. That's fine. Any opportunity for pleasure or playfulness with the universe and co-creation has no judgment and has no rules surrounding it. So it's another opportunity to just get curious and playful, and also give ourselves permission to release shame and judgment around it. Bring in little silly things throughout your day simply to monitor your thoughts and feeling around it, in being like, I feel like I'm judging myself so harshly, or I feel really stupid, or I feel really whatever it may be, and learn to challenge those thoughts. Maybe your challenge to yourself is that anytime you're in your car and you get stopped at a red light, you dance to whatever song is happening and you sing just for the red light time. And you're not looking around at the people around you. You drop into your own body, you let yourself move and flow. And some days it's like a little bit of a head nod and like sway back and forth. And other times you are having a full-fledged electric music concert with your own self in your own car. But doing little things throughout the day to not only shake things up, but also drop into your body and then be fun and silly and playful. It doesn't have to feel so hard. Anything you can do that can feel light and easy and effortless, I co-sign, I say sign me up for, and also I'm down for, because so many other areas of our life have been conditioned within us to feel like they have to be hard, and it just doesn't have to be hard. So challenge yourself to find something like that intuitively pops into your mind that's silly and playful, and just start to do that one thing. That's it. Challenge yourself to do that one thing today, and then just like observe the feelings that come up around it. If you forget to do it one time, chuckle about that. Like, oh, there's my awareness. It ran away from me again. Let me grab it and bring it back in and drop back into myself. And just see what happens with that. A tiny little shift. Like, can you make yourself laugh? Can you find some lightness amongst some of the heaviness and maybe the darkness that you've been basking within? Another really major important aspect of these kind of like magic, shadowy, dark times is finding pause and taking inventory. Looking at the aspects in your life, so that could be tiny habits, big habits, daily habits, relationships, people, places, friends, family, pets, jobs, whatever it is in your life that is, showing itself maybe within each week. It's something that is a consistent theme within your life, and getting really, really clear and really, really honest on whether that thing causes you to want to lean in or lean out. Does it cause you to want to expand or contract? Does it cause you to feel or avoid? Does it cause you to ascend or descend? There's a million ways that you can look at it. And when you find what resonates with you, when it comes to maybe even just your main goal and like outcome or something that you're maybe right now, you notice I'm in this space that feels kind of low vibration. What in my life raises that vibration? And what in that life am I maybe doing to self-sabotage that holds me down in that? What is the anchor that I'm putting around my own ankles? And this new awareness doesn't mean that you have to go through your contact list and message every single person and tell them whether they're in or they're out. It can be an energetic boundary. It can be an inventory you take, and it doesn't even have to be forever. It can be in this season of my life right now. I'm feeling really big energetic hesitation and resistance around this one thing, this hobby, this person, this experience. And so I'm just going to pause that lovingly, not with, guns a-blazing and we're out for blood and we have to make sure this person knows that we believe that they're bad. It's like, no, that's missing the whole point. This is self-care of taking inventory and recognizing the things that we're doing or not doing and the people or places that we're around. And if we notice themes, if you go to the same place every single day and there's someone there that you don't really want to see, and you find yourself talking about that every single time you go there and telling 15 people about how the thing was, then stop going to that place. Like, that's some tough love for you right now. And if you're on the receiving end of that repeated theme from a person or from a situation that you're in or a coworker, set the boundary, remove yourself from that conversation. I'm not interested in discussing this any longer. I'd love to hear the solution you come up with, or I'd love to hear what makes a difference for you energetically, or I'd love to hear what you determine is the next move in changing the outcome of this thing that is continuing to repeat itself. But I don't want to hear about the thing anymore. I'm not going to continue to co-create in this negative energetic space with you. And again, that can feel so loving. It really isn't something that is a hammer that's coming down on this. It's your own protection of your own peace. And when you start to navigate the world in a protective peace mentality, you will continue to stay in a higher vibration all the time, even when you have to make difficult situations of releasing people that don't serve you any longer, releasing situations and allowing them to come back on their own energetic accord. And you learn to exhale into the deep knowing that what's for you is not going to miss you. You don't have to worry about holding on to things so tight, especially energetically, because that can be felt. If you hold things lightly and you do a little dance with the universe and you just flow around and move through things without holding on to things so tightly, the right things will stay, and the things that weren't meant to be will just flutter away, and you might not even notice because you're in such a beautiful space of creation. And I would also say, on the tough love side of things, that while sometimes in these spaces of high anxiety, maybe needing some distraction, we may learn to be a little bit more gentle with ourselves when it comes to the doom scrolling, when it comes to that dopamine hit that we're seeking by doing whatever it is that we may be doing that is a little bit maladaptive. But until you're ready to get honest with yourself about some of those habits, you will stay in those cycles. You will scroll on your phone until 11 p.m. and then, like a zombie, roll over and try to fall asleep, and your nervous system will be amped, and you'll have kind of crazy dreams and really restless sleep, and you'll wake up and you'll do it all over again until you get tired of your own bullshit and you say to yourself, this is not serving me. There are aspects within social media and even some like kind of mindless scrolling that aren't all negative. They're not all maladaptive. But you know what's right for you, and you know when you are doing something that is actually harmful and holding you into a negative space. And when you get tired of yourself and you get tired of being in that space, you'll make a change. And it doesn't have to be giant, but maybe you plug your phone in over on your dresser and you have I will not ever be on my phone in bed rule. And that is crazy. That is like taking a needle away from a heroin addict. That is like removing this thing. It can feel so confronting. And then what's really cool is you create a new pattern, and then it's just like second nature. Oh, I don't have my phone in bed. Until you're ready to actually like make those changes, though, you're not going to, and you'll find reasons to justify. And again, be soft with yourself. There might be a time you lay on the couch and you doom scroll for an hour and you feel gross after, and you recognize that like nothing good came out of that. It was not fulfilling. You didn't help any aspect of your own life. And like, so what? And then I release it and I move on and I forgive myself and I say, guess what? I'm human. And that 1 hour of my day is not going to change the course of my life. But if you let that 1 hour a day become 5 hours a day, every day for 5 years, it will change the course of your life. And that is scary. And that is where getting honest with yourself and taking inventory on not even just those micro habits, but like the energetic vampires, the people in your life that are causing you to like have to combat something within yourself and like leave with this tense trauma headache and have to maybe vent to somebody about the interaction for however long. Like, take inventory of those things, rise above them, and don't be small-minded, and talk about some of those small things. Talk about bigger things, talk about greater ideas, share things with your friends that matter, that are more fulfilling than that. Challenge yourself to be like bigger and better than that. And even just notice in 1 week, if you stop complaining about this thing that you complain about every single day, do you notice a difference at the end of the week? Like, just be curious and playful about it and recognize that who we're surrounded by, the energy we're consuming, the upgrading the inputs that we're having in our minds. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What and who are you engaging with daily? Take inventory of those things and freaking upgrade them. We have the ticket and the key to upgrade any area of our life at any given time. It's just a matter of believing we can do it, getting out of our own way, and guess what? Doing it. The difference between the people that do it and don't are the ones that just do it. And that's everything in life. It's believing in your passion and your purpose and your outcomes and not quitting until you get the thing that you're striving for. And recognizing that sometimes those setbacks and those things that come in between us only make that goal, when we hit it, even better and sweeter and more amazing, because we know that we didn't just wake up and have it at our fingertips. So honor those seasons of growth and of pivoting and of taking inventory and pruning and releasing, and recognize that sometimes we can't call in what it is that we've desired until we make room and make space for that thing to call in. The most magnetic, powerful women are not the ones that never fall. They are the ones who know how to rise. They are the ones who say, buckle up, babe. We're dipping down into the magic dark. And I am so confident that I will come out of this stronger, more beautiful from the inside out, more resilient, better, with more perspective and more knowledge, because I have been here before. Sometimes when we navigate a new struggle, a new heartbreak, a new difficulty, our brain tricks us into believing that this is the first time we've ever felt like this, and that we will feel like this until the day that we die, and it will never go away. And that's part of the human experience, is how like sweet our fickle little minds are in not being able to give us the gift of saying like, oh, I've been here before, and oh, I know what's on the other side of this. Our resilience is our most powerful, incredible tool. It is the thing that allows us to move through the world with grace, with a fluttery, floating kind of receiving energy, because we know that there is always greater things ahead than anything we could ever leave behind. We know that what's meant for us won't miss us. We know that the right things will find a way to stay, even with our palms wide open, even without clenching or grasping or reaching or chasing. And we know that the things that are not meant for us will flutter away peacefully if we give them the room and the space to do so. It's a superpower to be resilient, to be so deeply knowing and trusting and confident in our ability to get through whatever life throws our way. And the most beautiful people I know have been to hell and back multiple times. And they have a lightness about them still. They have an essence and an aura about them where you can feel the depths in which they have been to. And you can also palpably feel that they did not pitch a tent and stay there. They released, they rose, they love what they lost. They are not hardened by it or jaded by it. They love what they lost, and they love more who they became in that losing, in that letting go and releasing. And they have the deepest, most beautiful presence because they've known the depths. They've known the hell and back, but they also know the rising. They know the feeling of finally surrendering and ascending and looking around and being like, oh my gosh, I never would have been here if I did not first release and lose that thing I thought I couldn't live without, and release the need to control and hold and wield. It is such a beautiful, incredible quality that will get you so far in your life because it is palpable, it is energetics, it can be felt by everyone. And it's also a really deep confidence in like, bring it on. There's not really much that I can't handle or I can't take because my track record is 100% at this point. And so I don't lose my head when things happen. I don't beg and chase and try to convince people or situations or jobs or opportunities of my worth. I just am. And you take it or leave it. And you may leave it and then you may come back around and be like, hang on, knock, knock. And then I get to determine what place and position in my life that thing holds or doesn't hold. That's empowering. That is so much more empowering than like, I want this so bad, so I'm going to claw and chase and get it. And I'm going to hold it into my hands and I'm going to squish it till it dies. And then I'm going to hold this dead little carcass and I'm going to say, look it, I got it. I did it. Do you know how beautiful it is when that fluttery bird that you have your eye set on lands on your shoulder and chooses to be there? And your hands are free, girl. You can wield and work and cast your spells and create and do all these beautiful things while this little bird sits on your shoulder, has every single ability to fly away and doesn't. Chooses to be there. That to me is the ultimate. So much more than I'm going to snatch this bird up and I'm going to suffocate it and then I'm going to put it on my shelf like my little prize and I've taken away the most incredible things about it. But it's mine and I have it and it can't go anywhere. Miss me on that. I am not interested in that and you should not be either. So ask yourself how you can hold on to things more lightly, and that might mean things fluttering away. But that also will mean things coming back to you tenfold, coming into your life tenfold. I promise you that. If we are able to reframe tough phases in our life as initiation to the next level, we will also unlock an entire basement of power that we did not know we had. We inhabit so much power that's like in that deep sacral chakra, just buzzing and ready to be released. And another kind of way of playful co-creation is it's like when things feel like they're falling apart, get excited. Be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what's on the other side of this. It's about to get so good. Feed that delusion. I'm so glad that thing got taken away. This is the best thing ever because that only means something better is coming in. If it wasn't that, it's because it's something better. And that will ring true time and time and time again. A few little prompts for self-reflection that I would encourage you to chew on a little bit and mull over are, what is this low phase revealing to me rather than taking from me? Let's move through the world from a place of abundance and not scarcity, not lack, not I don't have, but what do I have? What is being revealed now? What do I have? What do I encapsulate? What is being given rather than what's being taken? And there are always two sides to those coins. And the more that you can start to focus on that, what am I being gifted right now, will serve you so much. Where have I been abandoning myself? Where have I been abandoning myself? Where have I been choosing external rather than watering my internal garden? Where have I been placing those arrows of my compass out? Where have I been self-sacrificing? What do I actually want? Where have I been abandoning? Because often in these dark places and these little magic ooey gooey moments, there is a big place that we have been abandoning. What version of me is ready to emerge from this? I love that one. What version of me is ready to emerge from this? Who will I be on the other side? Who do I get to be? Who will I choose to be? What's next? Feel the hope and excitement in asking yourself that. There is a version of you that is pulling its bootstraps up. Put me in, coach. I am ready. I'm ready to emerge. That butterfly, those wings that you haven't even seen yet because you've been so wrapped up in this little cocoon, looking around being like, I'm claustrophobic. Someone's got to let me out of here. And let me just tell you that version, when she spreads her wings, magic, absolute magic. And you get to decide where you'll fly, what color you'll paint those wings, how big you'll let them grow, what heights you believe you can achieve and then achieve them. What version of you is going to emerge on the other side of this? I cannot wait to meet her. Last little closing reminder here, as we're 47 minutes into a quick and short episode that I was going to film. Not sorry. You do not need to have it all figured out to still be that girl. That girl has enough awareness to know that she will never have it all figured out. That girl has enough confidence in herself to find safety in feeling it all. That girl knows that the dark serves her just as much as the light. That girl knows that there is abundance around her and has no scarcity and no lack, and therefore no problem releasing and letting go anything that is not currently serving her. That girl is strong enough to be soft. She is brave enough to sit in the dark with a deep knowing that there is always light on the other side, but that the first light she must turn on is the light within her. And you can be in the darkest, most pitch black room, but if you have confidence that there is light within you, that darkness does not stand a chance. And sometimes these moments where we are buried are the very moments where we are reminded of the light that we've always had within us. And it gives us a new opportunity to access it, to light a few more candles, to let it burn a little brighter, to pour into ourselves before we pour out to the external world, and to radiate that warmth and light and love from the inside out to cast out any darkness that we could be facing. You are never starting over. You are always building upon the woman that you are becoming. We are not moving backwards. We're not even looking backwards because we are not going that way. We are where we are, and where we are is right here. And that is a beautiful place to build from, to emerge from, to pause and observe and witness from, and eventually to lean down and place that next stepping stone toward the direction that we were always meant to go, and that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to determine had we not been forced to first pause in the stillness in this beautiful dark space that we've maybe been called to sink into, and then rise. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm with you. I am you. You are never alone in anything that you face. You don't have to go through this alone. You have a community of incredible people at your disposal. I would love to hear from you if this resonates with you. If you need an extra reminder or a pep talk, I'm your girl. And I'm going to leave you with that last reminder and that little red nail energy pep talk one more time. You are never starting over. You are always building on the woman that you are becoming and that you were always meant to become. I will catch you on the next episode.